Kevin Hassett joining me right now. Kevin, I believe you suggested that the shutdown will be over this week. Well, it's not. At this moment, it's not. So what happened?
Well, the discussion I had earlier in the week on a different show was just this, that many moderate Democrats said that because of the No Kings rally, that they couldn't open the government ahead of that because they'd get too much pressure from the left. And so the hope was that now that that rally was over, that they would come to the table and negotiate something. And the fear, which appears to be being realized, was that they were kind of fibbing about the fact that it was about the No Kings rally, and they're just going to keep it closed for as long as they can bear it. And it looks like that's kind of the path we're on right now, and it's really regrettable.
Yes, I don't see the point, frankly. Kevin, the consumer price inflation report came out today. Prices up exactly 3% over the last 12 months. You happy with that?
Yeah, it was a really good report for a number of reasons. The first is that it went down a little bit from August, 3.1 to 3. It was a little bit below expectation, also about 3.1 to 3. But there were some special factors that drove the prices up, especially on the top line number. There was a big refinery shutdown that made the price of gas go up a lot, and that's going to be a big negative for October because we know gas prices have gone way down. And so our expectation is that inflation is decelerating, and that'll take all the pressure off the Fed to keep on the path that they're on.
Got it. Next one, sir. Trump announced all trade talks with Canada have been called off because of an alleged fake ad that showed Ronald Reagan bad-mouthing tariffs. Okay, the president's angry about this. He immediately just said, no more talks with Canada. But where do we go from here?
Well, I mean, the president, I'm sure, has his reasons. There have been a lot of talks with Canada. I've been involved in some of them. And I think the president, probably more than anything, is frustrated with the progress that he's making with Canada. And sometimes when you're frustrated, a timeout is the right call. And the president's saying no talks with Canada. I would guess that at some point between now and the end of his term, he'll talk to Canada again. But yes, right now, I think there's been frustration with the behavior of the Canadians, the demeanor of the Canadians, the positions of the Canadians. And so it's probably a good time to take a break for a little while.
I think what gets to a lot of people is we've got this tariff turmoil, and we've got a government shutdown now in its fourth week. But the economy doesn't seem to be in bad shape because of it, and nor does the market. So what do you think is the exact state of the economy right now?
Right. Well, we know that in the second quarter we got almost 4% growth. We know that Atlanta Fed GDP now is almost 4% growth now. I get a lot of private indicators, companies I could call up CEOs to say how you do it and everything. And everybody thinks the economy is just rip-roaring. And I think that the uncertainty over the tariffs is partly an explanation, because what's going on is that people are rushing to onshore production here in the U.S., and it's driving a huge surge in investment in the U.S. If you go to the GDP accounts, the number that you could get, while we could still get numbers, right, would be non-defense capital goods orders and shipments. You know, the orders are booming. The investment that we actually see, the GDP release, it's booming. And so everybody's onshoring production at a high rate, and that's making wages go up a lot too. And so year over year, retail sales are up now about 7%. And so people have money in their pockets and they're spending it and they're getting jobs, and we're expanding our capacity. Industrial production is out at an all-time high. And so everything's looking great. And you kind of wonder, geez, in fact, I would say, you and I have been talking on the show for 20 years. The thing that I would say, this is not speaking necessarily as White House guy, but just as economist who's been looking at it forever, is that the things are so good that the Democrats are just trying to slow down President Trump because he's having so much success.
Looking for failure. It's a fine thing on a Friday morning when the stock market's going up across the board and the president's top economic advisor says things are doing just fine. Kevin Hassett, it was a pleasure. Always is.
It's great to be here. Always is.
Thanks.